Well, a very good afternoon to you, or good morning, wherever you are listening to this podcast, either live with us here today, or perhaps you're listening to this on your favourite streaming service. My name is Natalie Ashdown from the Open Door Coaching Group. Welcome to the Coaching Cafe. We're continuing our conversations around mental health conversations in the workplace, and this idea today about I'm just juggling so many things. And I'd like to welcome to the line also our resident HR specialist and guru, Paula Jones-Hunt. Thanks for joining us again today, Paula.
I'm very happy to be here.
Looking forward to your insights. And I know that there's quite a few people on the line who have experience with mental health first aid. There's a lot of experienced coaches on the line. So very happy to have you all join us today as well to get your insights. So before we begin, as always, let us acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands and the custodians on the lands on which we're meeting today, and their continuing connection to the land, the waters and the communities of Australia and our international community as well. We pay our respects to them and to their elders past, present and emerging, and anyone who might be a traditional owner or custodian from the international lands across the lands that we're meeting. So welcome to you all. Today we want to really focus on mental health in the workplace, as we've been doing the last couple of weeks, and this idea that came out actually at a couple of webinars and a couple of seminars we're doing, where people are saying, I'm just juggling so many things. And so we want to have a bit of a chat about this today and consider our roles as leaders, managers and coaches, and as family members also, when it comes to this idea of juggling. And we'll take a look at coaching tools today as well that we might be able to assist, and you can use these in your coaching practice. If you are new to the coaching community, the Coaching Cafe, we say welcome. We are all about creating a community, sharing our learned experience, having thought-provoking conversations. And at the end of the session, ICF CCEs will be available if that is something that you are interested in collecting for your ICF accreditation. And as always, welcome back to all our regulars. It is wonderful to catch up with you at this time every week. And we really encourage you to share your insights and ideas, and just do that by hitting the chat box, and we'll pick up your comments and thoughts as we go along as well. And I know, as I mentioned, there's a lot of experienced, first of all, mental health first aid practitioners on the line, but also very experienced coaches. So please bring your experience to our conversation today. We'll be really happy to hear that. So before we begin, we'd just like you to know that we are going to be speaking about mental health in the workplace, and you may have a lived experience with mental health, or you might be working with someone who is having a lived experience with mental health problems. So you or someone you know. Some people might find it a bit confronting to talk about mental health in the workplace. So if someone you know, if you or someone you know needs support, you can contact the numbers that we have on the screen right now. Contact Lifeline on 131114. Contact Beyond Blue on 1300 224 636. You might like to consider calling the Suicide Callback Service if you need it, 1300 659 467, or if there is a life in danger and you do need to call 000 on 000. So just putting those resources there available for you if at any time you or someone you know needs them. So today we are going to be talking about mental health, as we have been, as I mentioned, the last couple of weeks. We go back to the World Health Organization and their definition. And Paula, you have been doing quite a lot of mental health in the workplace conversations and delivering the mental health first aid program. Can you talk to us about the definition that the World Health Organization gives us about mental health?
Yeah, so the definition says that it's a state of well-being in which the individual realises their own ability, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to their community. And one of the things I really love about the definition is it's put it in a positive space. So the positive space of great mental health is where you can cope with normal things that happen, that stresses come up because life throws things at you all the time, but you're able to manage it. So I love that it's in that positive space, and it also connects three things. It connects you to yourself, you to your work, and you to your community and your family. So it's saying that you can do all. You've got good relationships and can manage with all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like you pointing that out for us too, Paula. And we are thinking about our own mental health today. So the last couple of weeks, we've been thinking about mental health in the workplace with others. But today we're actually going to be focusing on ourselves. And I like what you said also, that positive definition of what mental health and a state of well-being that we're seeking. And we like to think of it also in terms of a zone of performance, and that we have I like to use this kind of analogy of the dashboard where we have this green zone, and we use this in a lot of our coaching actually to think about how do we stay in our green zone, in our performance zone, bearing in mind that as part of our everyday life we're going to have perhaps push into that red zone where we do get stressed, or perhaps there'll be times when we're in our orange zone, on the other side, where we're not really feeling that motivated. So we can think about that for ourselves. Where are we sitting? Maybe dial back the stress a little bit to get back into the green zone, or dial up our motivation in some ways in order to get back into the green zone. So dial back or dial up. I like this kind of idea. And it's a continuum, Paula. It's not just one. We're not just, I like this kind of dashboard idea because we're not in one fixed space all the time. What are your kind of thoughts about thinking about our mental health in terms of the dashboard?
Yeah, I think it's where if you think about the performance zone, that's where you're feeling great, right? You're managing, you're doing things, you're delivering what you need to deliver, you're being the best family member that you can be. But on any given day, something can be thrown at you and there's some stress to it. It's about how do you bounce back into that performance zone when those sorts of things happen. And it's also about, I like to think about it from what are the tools that I have in my toolkit that when I feel my stress getting greater, what do I need to do to bring me back to that performance zone? When I'm feeling unmotivated, or I can see that, I know there's things that need to be done and I'm not doing them. What tools do I keep for myself that bring me back to that performance zone? So it's the, and if you think the green zone, the green zone is the biggest, right? But there's varying degrees of the green zone. So it's where are you in that green zone, and how are you what are you doing that helps you, move more green or less green, or for whatever is going on for you. And in the workplace, it's very true. It's, you might be working in the performance zone, then you hit a patch. Okay, so am I stressed or am I unmotivated, and how do I move back into that performance zone?
Yeah, I do like that, and I think our topic was around juggling too. And it's funny, just sharing a personal note here. I've tried to juggle over the years, like get out the Circus Oz balls and learn to juggle, because I think it's kind of an impressive thing to be able to do. But it's something that I've never really pursued and mastered. And I actually think the reason for that is because I don't like the idea of juggling. I actually associate it with having to juggle many things, juggling balls, juggling home life, juggling our family life. So in order for me to learn how to juggle, I need to break that connection between this negative perception I have about having to juggle, juggle, juggle. Because when I think about juggling, I think about pushing into the stress zone, in that, there's so many things going on. Things are out of control. I'm juggling so many things in my mind I'm trying to keep control of. And then that pushes you into that overwhelm where you do become unmotivated, or not really willing to, you start to procrastinate and you're not really willing to get on with things. So anyway, that's just a personal note around juggling. But we have heard a lot of people talk to us, all the time. It comes up in coaching sessions around the sheer number of things that people are trying to juggle across their work and across their home lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all got very full lives. I think I even wrote a HR tip about it that said, can you really have it all? And the question is, you can, but you have to define what that all means for you. So, you can have everything that you want, so long as you're really clear about what it is that you want, and making sure that you don't have things that you don't want in that space. So, and when you think about your performance zone, I mean, juggling juggling does sound like you've got balls in the air and there's a likelihood that one will drop. I think there's that idea too, that you drop a ball, which is why that sticks in there. But juggling, I mean, juggling, you could replace juggling with managing. I'm managing the things that I need to do, and that changes it, or I'm focusing on the things I need to do, and it changes that language around it. But we all have lives that have got heaps of things in them.
Yes, I agree with you. And just that thought of dropping the balls, or things slipping through the cracks or making mistakes, with high performers, that's a level of stress as well. And you're absolutely right. We can reframe those ideas of juggling. And I 100% agree with Ian, who's jumped in here. And he has said, which I absolutely agree with, and this is the approach I take, the first steps has to be put the balls down. So my preference for myself when I'm thinking about this and when I'm coaching is when I hear the idea of juggling, I'm like, all right, let's not juggle. Let's put the balls down. Let's put those things down. I see buckets, I see balls, and I'm like, let's talk about each of these things. And as you said, Paula, then we can move the balls around, think about what our priorities are, which ones do we need to put to the side, which ones are we going to focus on, rather than this whole juggling act. And I know easier said than done, but that analogy of let's put the balls down, I feel it in myself even now when I talk about it. Let's put the balls down. Let's see what we've got on our plate, whatever metaphor or analogy you want to use, really important in our coaching. And as I said, I can feel it. Even when I say put the balls down, I'm feeling calmer, just this kind of juggling thing. So yeah, very good. And you're mentioning some tools. And before we do that, get into our tools, we know that this focus is really important. We're sharing the statistics across our region. And there's a number of great studies that have come out more recently around the global burden of disease, talking about the percentages of diagnosable mental illnesses across different different countries in our region. And they are suggesting that prevalence of mental illness in our region is increasing, and the impact on our economic environment is increasing as well. But let's come back to the impact that it has on ourselves as individuals, and how we might be able to assist people and work through that. So lots of different statistics are there. So go on, Paula.
I was going to say, the statistics are great because they help us to be able to highlight and to focus on this area. But stress isn't something new. It's been something that's been researched for a very long time. Performance isn't something new. So, and mental health isn't something new. It's just that we've gotten much better about talking about it, and much better about bringing it and focusing on it, and making sure it's something that we look at from a how do we improve, as opposed to let's hide it away and nobody talk about it. So I love that there are new stats coming through, but it's not anything new. It's not a new topic. It's just that it's now much easier to talk about it. And in workplaces, there's a lot more being focused on it. So things like our psychological safety laws, and that, when we brought in bullying, harassment legislation, and it gets bolstered as the legislation does, that it just means that what we're saying is work needs to be a place where people can go and it not impact on their mental health.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Paula, as well. Yes, I'm cognizant that I said these are great statistics. I didn't mean it in that way that, it's, great statistics we have here. 1 in 5 people suffering mental health issues. No, I meant exactly what you said, that the focus enables conversations in the workplace. So thank you for picking that up as well. Well, let's turn to a couple of the coaching tools that we can use to stop this juggling act, and to try to help us move into the zones that we are much more comfortable in, where we are high performing in that green zone. And for those of you that are familiar with our Certificate 4 in Workplace and Business Coaching, you will be familiar with these tools. So let me just remind you of some of the tools that you're aware of, that you can bring back into your coaching practice. I always come back to this very simple 2 by 2 matrix, the start, stop, more of, and less of. And, and, you know, I've been thinking a lot about this for myself as well, and thinking about the goals that I'm setting for myself. And it's so nice and so easy just to think about a goal that you're setting for yourself, and then to say, in order to be in my green zone around this, in order to stay out of the red zone, in order to stay out of the orange zone, in order for me to achieve my goal, what do I need to start doing? So to stay in that green zone, what do I need to start doing? And you can list a couple of things there. What do I need to do more of? So as I said, alumni on the line, you've seen this, but let's just take some time to have a think about it again. In order to achieve my goal, to stay in that nice green zone, to stop the juggle and the stresses, what do I need to do more of? And it could be more time for myself, more walking, more reflective time, more taking myself out to breakfast, whatever it might be for you. Are there things that I actually need to stop doing? So we've got a 2 by 2 matrix. We've got start, more of, then we've got the box which says stop. What do I need to stop doing? And I don't mind here actually having a really good think about our self-talk. Let's stop beating ourselves up about what we are achieving or not achieving, or what might be happening or not happening. Stop with the continuous worry or doomsday or whatever it might be that you need to perhaps think about your own self-talk. Or maybe you need to stop taking more and more things on, and start saying, I would love to help you, and this is when I can help you, or I would like to help you, and I'm not able to at the moment because of my major priorities or whatever it might be. And there might be some things we need to do less of as well. So the start, the more of, the stop, and the less of, just taking yourself out to breakfast or sitting down quietly and just drawing up a little 2 by 2 matrix, I feel just makes a massive difference to me personally. And that's why I'm really a big fan of this tool. Paula, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think this is a super cool tool to work for yourself, and also for managers working with staff and coaches, of course. Particularly when someone comes up with a new project that you're going to deliver, and you look at it and go, I don't know how I'm going to do this with what I'm already working on. And even things like thinking about the meetings that you attend. So which of these meetings can I stop attending? What can I get minutes of versus actually rocking up to the meeting, because depending on what it needs, right? So what can I look at in my calendar? What can I stop doing or do less of? And what can I start doing or do more of that will actually help me get where I need to go? So it's a great tool for managers to be able to have for themselves, but also have this conversation with you. You've got a staff member who's sitting in your office going, oh, I can't do it all done. Okay, well, let's have a look at it. What do we stop, start, less of, more of? But I also think this is a very cool tool to use with your family. A conversation with your family around, it's all really busy. So let's really think of together, how do we collectively together decide what are some of the things that, what can we stop doing? What do we want to start doing less of, more of? It's a great conversation piece at the table. If what you've got is if you've got, everything going on from a personal life, having the conversation with your family. I mean, I think this is a great opportunity to really focus in and say, how do we want to be as a family?
Look, I couldn't agree with you more, Paula. And, I come back to the personal because that's what we're talking about today as well. I actually use it. I think about what's the goal? We've got a big 3 months coming up. So what's our goal as a family? And so we start by having a think about, well, what is it that we want to achieve? Do we want to be, and it normally comes out something like, our goal for the family is to be calm and happy and to work together, something like that, and we always include something like to look after each other. So, our goal is to look after each other. We've all got a very busy time coming up. So let's look after each other. Let's be respectful, or whatever that might be. And then we can do the start, stop, more of, less of. So you can do that for yourself. I have a very big 3 months coming up. What's my goal for myself? Is it to be a fit, strong, healthy person? Is it to be a calm, strong, confident person? I find myself choosing 3 words: calm, fit, and strong, or something like that. So maybe it's just 3 words that you need to focus on over the next 3 months, for example. And then you can do the start, stop, more of, less of, and then specific actions that you need to take in order to move forward. So yes, using it for yourself, using it at home, thinking about the goals that you might want to achieve at home, or, as you said, Paula, coaching managers to coach their people using just a simple tool like this, for sure. Well, yeah, feel free, anyone who's using the tool at the moment, to jump in and share your experience as well. And what I like about this is we are having that conversation around, all right, let's put the balls down. So if my goal is to get on top of everything I've got going on, or maybe it's not on top of, maybe it's to push things to a manageable state, or whatever that goal is, we can get very clear about that, and then use the tool. Thank you, Ian's jumped in again. A useful question for yourself here is, what is my obligation to my person, my organization, my family, my friends, and my hobbies? So you might also exactly think about it from the different perspectives there, and follow up with is that their view or my own view? Is it my own? What's driving me around that? So I know Ian said, what's my obligation? But we can also think about what's my drive there, or what's my need there? Have I committed to something that I might need to have another discussion around? So yeah, very good. Thank you.
And also, who do I want to be? How do I want to feel in myself? How do I want to be seen by others?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very powerful question, Paula. It's one that I come back to often as well. Who do I want to be, or how do I want to be over the next 3 months? And it's a good conversation to have with family members as well. This is how I want to be. This is how I want to show up for you over the next 3 months. This is what I need. What do you need? So all of those good coaching questions come out as well when we think about that one. Very powerful. And as you can hear, we're taking this time for self-reflection. So everything that we're talking about today is find that time for that piece of self-reflection, whatever it is. As I keep coming back to take yourself out to breakfast, but wherever you find that opportunity just to have some quiet time or self-reflection is important. Thank you.
Yeah, correct. And it's not just from a coaching space. I mean, if you read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there's a space in there that says, where are you taking the time to think about what you're doing and what you want to be doing? And often we hear people, I don't have time for coaching. But what we know is that if you take the time, you then get better performance and better results. So this is about saying to yourself, I'm taking the time for myself to get the great performance, to be the person I want to be.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So just in the last few minutes, we wanted to take the time for ourselves. So many of you may have seen this little tool before. We're going to do a little bit of boxed breathing together. And for those of you that have joined us across the years during Coach Week, we use the boxed breathing as a wonderful chance to centre ourselves. And a number of you I know on the line have done this with me before. But we thought, let's just take that time that we're talking about, the last 5 minutes of our coaching cafe together, so we can breathe together as a community as well. So I'm going to turn my my video off, and I'll step you through this. This boxed breathing, for those of you that are not familiar with it, is used by our emergency services. It's used by our armed forces. It's used by Navy SEALs. That's how it was first popularised, ambulance, for example, as a way of regulating our nervous system to be able to cope under pressure. But we can use this little technique in meetings. We can use it before we're going to do any kind of performance. We can use it as we go to bed at night. We can also use it as we wake up. As we're walking on the streets, there's so many opportunities just to really narrow in on our breathing, focus on our breathing, and reset our nervous system. And it makes a huge difference. That's why we're trying to introduce it to you today. So I'm going to turn my video off, and what we will be doing is we'll be breathing in, then we'll be holding our breath, we'll be breathing out, and then we'll be holding our breath once more. They do say that you can build this up to holding our breath for 7 seconds or 10 seconds, but for today we're going to breathe in to the count of 4. We're going to hold our breath for the count of 4. Then we're going to breathe out for the count of 4, and we will hold our breath for the count of 4. And you can feel free to just sit quietly, breathe with us for the next 4 minutes. Perhaps there's an intention that you have, something you'd like to focus on, something you'd like to breathe in, like calmness or peace or harmony or confidence or whatever it is. This is just literally 4 minutes for ourselves. And I'm going to take you, for those of you that can see the slides, I'm going to take you above the clouds. So I love this view of the clouds. Above the clouds, there's blue sky. And this photo I took recently when I was flying, and I was looking out the window, and I just love that time when you might be flying and you break through the stormy clouds below, and it's like, this is where the sun is. This is where we see the blue clouds. So just giving you that visual. We're going to rise up above the clouds for now. And as you sit there, or you're standing, or you're making yourself comfortable, let's just take a nice big deep breath in together and out again. Just being aware of our breathing now, in and out. And on the next in-breath, I'll ask you to breathe in for 4 counts, and then we're going to hold our breath. So let's do that together. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. We hold our breath, 2, 3, 4. Big breath out now. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath at the bottom. 2, 3, 4. That's the way. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. And we hold, 2, 3, 4. Over to you. In, hold, out, and hold. And in, hold, out, and hold. Over to you by yourself now. In, one more time. Breathing in, there you go. And as you're coming back into the room, or perhaps you want to just keep breathing, you're more than welcome to do that. Spend the next few minutes just breathing, just staying in that space. That's the way. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm feeling different from when I started. And we literally just did that together as a community for 4 minutes. So, Sam, Samantha's kicked in saying, very relaxed and thank you. Just 4 minutes, that's all we need. I'm feeling better. Hopefully you're all feeling great too. So with that, we will say thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay in that space, continue to breathe, continue to look after yourself. And as we say, if you or someone you know needs support, Lifeline, Beyond Blue, if life is in danger, call 000. So please do take care of yourself, put the balls down, and we look forward to catching up with you at our next Coaching Cafe.